Hey there, I'm Miska and welcome to HitScan, a news video today wrapping up a bunch of things that have happened the past few days and of course the brand new patch that's going to be hitting in just a few hours from this video coming out. Go check the @PlayValorant Twitter that will be tweeting later today the exact update times. It tends to just generally be between Tuesday to Wednesday night though. And we do get the patch notes a bit early, so let's get straight to those and see what's been changed. Bear in mind, I won't cover every single change in here because there's a lot of bug fixes and really small changes. So this is more of a patch highlight thing, but I do highlight some things that Valorant didn't actually highlight in their quick patch rundown. So let's begin. Just before we get into the actual patch notes though, this patch actually just went live on some regions, and one thing that you can check out if you're in any of these regions that already have the patch are the new skins. There's a collection available called the Sovereign Collection, and it's got a Stinger, a Ghost, a Guardian, and a Marshal skin in there. These all look pretty cool and have different variations and effects on them as well, similar to the Prime collection currently. It's also got this knife that's more of a sword, really. Pretty crazy collection actually. I'm interested in the gun choices and why they chose these guns in particular, but maybe they just fit well with this aesthetic. Regardless, that knife looks pretty cool. I might be picking that one up, we'll see. I'm surprised to see more skins this soon after launch though. Either way, really good stuff. This will probably be featured in the next full week of the collections, as each collection seems to have about a week or week and a half featured in the store. You can see the timer if you go to the store under the Prime collection right now. You can see a countdown to when the next collection that will be featured will be added to the store. So yeah, not sure if we're gonna get a new one every single time, but I imagine they want to keep this going and have a new collection each time, at least for a little while after launch. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of the actual patch and the changes that were in the patch 1.01 patch notes. One of the main focuses of this patch is updating Spike Rush a bit more. Each game in Spike Rush now features a set of 5 randomly selected orbs. The full ultimate orb will always be there. Then you'll have 4 out of the remaining 7 orbs that will be chosen at random. And those orbs that are in there will actually be shown in a description widget in the character select screen and during pre-round to try and bring more focus to those orbs and what they do and how they play. And the 7 orb types now include 3 new ones, that's making the total 7. We'll start with the most exciting one, Golden Gun. Grants capturing player a golden gun. This is a one shot, one kill, perfectly accurate at all times gun. You move at knife speed with this weapon as well, and you only have a single bullet in the chamber, but you got 2 backup ones in ammo. And getting a kill with it grants an additional round as well, so that's gonna make for some cool ace clips for sure. It's basically a jet ultimate for everyone in a way. Also, the picture I've shown on screen with the golden gun is just a golden gun skin that we had in the alpha of the game. So that's not exactly what it's gonna look like, but probably something similar to it. Orb 2 out of 3 is the Deception Orb, which applies the paranoia effect, the near side effect from Omen, to the enemy team 3 seconds after you captured it. There's a 10-second total debuff duration. Fake footsteps and gunfire also plays for affected players, and the minimap is disabled. I think this is a really cool one, but it's gonna be really annoying to get hit by. Luckily, it's obviously just Spike Rush, so it's just all kind of for fun. That's definitely a really strong orb though. And finally, out of the 3 new orbs, we got the Health Orb, which grants team-wide health regen instantly. It's 20-second duration total, and it's 12 HP per second heal, so you can kind of use this by fighting during those 20 seconds there. So if you take damage, you just keep healing mid-fight. That pre-round screen as well will include all of the new orbs that are active in the match you're playing, and it'll show your weapon for that round as well, since that's chosen by the game mode too. Players also get 1 ultimate point for collecting any orb. So yeah, good stuff. Spike Rush looking pretty fun. I think for now it kind of feels like Spike Rush is the casual, just for fun, a chill or warm up mode, and then unrated is where a lot of people are actually trying really hard, because obviously there's no ranked at the moment. Hopefully that'll change in not too long. We might get some word on that fairly soon. Anyway, let's move on to some ability and character changes, beginning with Sage. Sage has had her barrier orb cast range reduced from 20 to 10 meters now instead. This just means that she can't put out the wall as far away from her, which means that you probably have to get in a bit more of a dangerous spot if you want to place down a good wall. Which, Sage, already a really strong character, I think this nerf is definitely justified. It's justified by the dev team by saying, as a sentinel, Sage is supposed to be most effective when defending territory that she already controls. The 20-meter cast range was allowing Sage to aggressively take control of neutral territory in a way that was inappropriate for her role in Valorant. This range reduction aims to keep her strong while defending territory but reduce her efficacy at taking ground. One spot where this was pretty prominent is Bind attacking A, where you can walk in and you can sort of wall off part of the bomb site as a Sage when you're pretty far back, sort of allowing you to take that space even though you weren't that pushed into that space. Those types of situations, along with just generally being able to get a bomb plant down easier because you can long range wall as Sage, won't be as much of a thing anymore. Other changes that are kind of bug fixes but also quality of life changes to different characters that I still think are really important include, first off, Cypher. Spy cameras placed on the teleporter door frames on Bind no longer teleport its view location underground, and Cypher's cyber cage no longer holds the teleported doors on Bind open. I believe there still were some game-breaking Cypher cameras and other things out there, other exploits that people were using, so this will address some of that, and there's also some other changes that try to address various bugs and unintentional behavior with abilities in this way. This is going to be a continuous thing though. There's always going to be a new Cypher camera spot that's going to be on the edge of exploit versus just a really good spot, so we're going to have to keep ourselves ready and updated on this every single patch to see which Cypher cameras actually still work and which ones are okay versus not okay. Another pretty big one actually is the area of effect indicator for Sova's Recon Bolt and Reyna's Leer, the eyeball, now only show up on the enemy's minimap if the player or their allies are close to the affected area. That's an interesting change that we're gonna have to keep an eye out for and see what it feels like over the next week, because you'll definitely notice that a couple times. Additionally, with Sova's Recon Dart, it will behave more consistently and only reveal the portion of enemies behind a wall, so not reveal them fully there if they're sticking out a bit, kind of just highlighting them a bit more overall, which not sure how I feel about. More of a quality of life change, that's why it's under QOL. Gonna have to wait and see if that one seems different at all or if we barely will notice it. Other than this, there's been a lot of performance updates. Hopefully you will see some FPS boosts in various ways. I will link to the patch notes below in the description, just next to that like button if you want to press that one. And then you can just check for yourself if there's anything you want to see in terms of specific performance changes. But it's just about loading of weapon skins and CPU bottlenecking, some multi-threading stuff too. All in all, performance updates. Ascent has also been removed to not be a featured map in the rotation anymore, which means that all maps have a roughly equal chance of being played. Yesterday, after that was announced, I actually played Haven 3 times in a row. Maybe I was just a bit unlucky, but something seems a bit off with the map weighting of choosing which map you play per match. Let me know your thoughts on that one, but either way, you shouldn't be seeing Ascent as much anymore at least. It's still in the map pool and in the game though. That's all for the sort of changes in the patch, but I wanted to go into something that slipped under a lot of people's radar that I think is pretty interesting that I only really read about very recently, which is an interview from GameSpot with Anna Donlan, the executive producer of Valorant at Riot Games. You've seen her in the Valorant launch teaser trailer thing. She tends to do a lot of the announcements and kind of heads up the entire dev team. She was talking about a question that was thrown at her in that GameSpot interview regarding Valorant for console. It's a controversial topic in a way because there's a lot of different discussion there about controller types, advantage and disadvantage on various systems and platforms, and of course just how the game would feel in general. And Anna said the following, that already they're actually prototyping and testing things for console and a console version of Valorant as we speak. So there's some testing being done there to see how they can tackle the different issues and how they can tackle translating Valorant into console to see if it would work. Obviously, being a game that's so incredibly aim intensive, translating this to console would change that up quite a bit to see how that would feel and work. The precision aiming of Counter-Strike, for example, this didn't really work that well on console back when it was tried, and that's one of the reasons why it stayed a PC-only game. Valorant could be the same thing, but Anna did say that the dev team are pretty interested in tackling some of these issues and seeing if they can crack some of these problems and just come to some sort of solution for some of the things you have to deal with when making a console port of a game that's this aim intensive and this customized for mouse and keyboard primarily. They will only go ahead with any type of console version if they feel like they can translate that experience well enough. It's for competitive integrity's sake and also for development's sake, of course. It's not an easy job just making a port for another platform entirely. So we'll see what happens there, but regardless, definitely a possibility, and I thought it was interesting that they commented on this. But all in all, it's not a guarantee that it will happen, but there is prototyping happening. Anyway, moving on, Valorant have had had some issues with the Battle Pass rewards recently, you might have noticed that there's some that you haven't gotten, maybe some previous ones that you haven't gotten, but you are getting the ones from now on. Regardless what your issues are, these should be fixed in a patch that's hitting tomorrow or soon, according to Valorant support. So that's straight from Riot, and that should be in this same patch that I talked about earlier. Patch 1.01. With that patch, there should be some other fixes that do address these types of problems. So you should be getting all of the Battle Pass rewards that you've not gotten previously. That should all be fixed. Not sure exactly what caused these issues in the first place, but yeah, fix incoming on that one. Definitely looking forward to the patch as a result. Just all these things that were a little bit bugged, there could be a little bit better, and something like Spike Rush being extended on like this, along with these quick quality of life and balance changes. Really good stuff. I didn't expect a patch this quickly, but I guess they felt like it was really important to get some of these things in as soon as they possibly could after launch, rather than running on their normal 2-week patch schedule. I don't know if this means that the next patch will be announced on the 23rd or next week on the 16th, but since this is not a major patch number, it's a 0.01 and not 0.1, I could see us getting a more major balance patch or something like that for the 16th as well. Fingers crossed, but either way, Riot are making some good moves already, so yeah, good stuff, and thank you very much for watching this video. If you watched this far, then just a quick opportunity for you actually. We'll be doing an interview with the character design lead at the Valorant team in not too long, so if you got a question that you'd like us to ask them, then you can put that in the comments below, and just put something like question for Morello or something like that, so I can look for that question in particular, question for Valorant dev, something like that, and I'll be able to find that comment easily. Things around balance changes, character design, ability changes, or maybe even future characters, anything like that is probably right in the ballpark for this guy, but other Valorant questions may work too. Again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.